the person who is the mentor and who is the mentee. But then I realized because of all my experience and my history within OIT and just in even activities that are outside of OIT that I did have a lot to offer. So as far as being a mentor for me, not only was it a great experience, it also just highlighted that for me myself that I did have a lot to offer to other employees or people who were interested in getting a mentee.
I'm David Zabrowski, and having a mentor has helped me clarify my career and personal objectives. My mentor provided me a clear path and the steps I needed to take to reach those goals, while helping me realize an improved work-life balance for what I had been doing previously. The VA Mentorship Program has been one of the most holistic leadership programs I have ever participated in while in the VA, and I highly recommend this program to those that are considered joining.
My name's Randy Sleva, and the mentoring program has given me a different perspective on what I do on a day-to-day basis and where I may want to go within the VA. In addition, it's given me the opportunity to reflect on my accomplishments and really helps me approach situations with a new clarity and a new way of looking at things.
Hi, my name is Robbie Roberts, and I really enjoy being a mentor. It allows me to give back to the organization by investing in the people resources that we have. We've got a lot of hidden talent in the VA, and I really enjoy being able to be a part of shaping someone's career. And it's kind of a symbiotic relationship in that I learn a lot as well, not only on how that I can help other mentees, but also how that I can help to further my own career.
I'm Greg Gilbertson, and I've been a mentor for over 10 years in the United States Navy. And now I'm a mentor with the OIT Mentoring Program. If you want to be a mentor, but you are afraid that you don't have the right skills, don't worry about it. There are plenty of opportunities to participate in trainings and lunch and learns, where we continue to develop our skills to become the best mentors that we can be. We support each other, and we are a team.
The OIT Mentoring Program is a place for everyone. So whether you possess the expertise and experience needed to help others identify and achieve their goals, or you're someone who wants to explore your own personal and professional journey, this program is for you. For more information about the program and how to sign up to be a mentor or a mentee, send us an email at oitmentoringprogram@va.gov. Mentoring matters, and so do you. Join us.
Declutter your digital life this spring with a bit of Cyber Spring Cleaning. Here are some tips and resources to protect your cyber hygiene and safeguard you from cyber criminals. First, clean up your digital presence by reviewing your online account's privacy and security settings. Delete old accounts that are no longer in use and limit who has administrative access to your online accounts. A good rule of thumb is only give access to individuals who need it. Next, stay cyber aware. Think before you click. Over 90% of successful cyber attacks start with a phishing email, commonly leading to identity theft, malware, and ransomware attacks. Make a security plan. Take the time to develop your cybersecurity strategy. Review and update it regularly to stay cyber safe. And finally, back it up. Back up your data by making copies of your most important files. Use the 3-2-1 rule to help guide you. 3 backup copies, 2 different media types, 1 offline and in a separate location. While these proactive steps may seem ambitious, they can be beneficial in addressing the risks of a cybersecurity attack. Spring into action and begin safe cyber practices today.
Welcome to the VA IT Campus, a presentation of the Office of People Science, developed and produced by IT Workforce Development.
Good afternoon. Today is June 29th, 2023. My name is Lori Fennell, and I would like to welcome you to the EUO Virtual Town Hall. As a reminder, this call is being recorded for future viewing, and thank you all for joining us for today's presentation. Today, we're going to hear from our Deputy Chief Information Officer, Mr. Jack Galvin, and our Executive Director, Mr. Jeff Bemmel, on the latest updates happening within EUO. During the presentation, we'll be sharing an updated leadership organization chart, which is available under End User Operations SharePoint page. As always, we'll be following up this presentation with Q&A. You can use the Ask the Presenter function on the sidebar of the VAIT campus to participate during any time. On our SharePoint page, under the Business Services, we have also added a link to End User Operations Town Hall Frequently Asked Questions. That document, it houses all those repetitive questions that we have been seeing in the past. In an effort to be able to answer the vast amount of questions on various topics that you are posting in the chat, we've added that link so that you can refer to those questions and have already been asked and answered. If we happen to still run out of time for questions at the end, we will gather them and add the responses and post them on End User Operations SharePoint page as well. And now it's my absolute pleasure to turn the call over to our Deputy Chief Information Officer, Mr. Jack Galvin. Jack?
Thank you, Lori. Appreciate it. And thank you all for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. First of all, I want to start off by thanking everybody for the tremendous response to the all-employee survey. Our End User Services organization reached a high mark of 83% response. That was fantastic. I think it's indicative of just how much your voice matters. I think we show that in this year, from last year's AES survey, we did some tremendous things with an employee health and wellness campaign. Delivered numerous different conferences and seminars for folks, addressed things like work-life balance, workload management, growth, conflict resolution, all kinds of topics. We developed a wellness well so that you can have access to resources for you at any time for your health and well-being, and really just to help everybody, have a better chance at being happy at work, as well as producing great stuff and such an important mission that we do. So thank you so much for your voice, your feedback, and I'm looking forward to what we can do with the feedback that you provided for next year and take it up even further. Last week I had the opportunity to take the team to Salt Lake City. We had our senior leadership End User Services offsite there, and big thanks to Justin Oakes, the area manager for Salt Lake City, and the wonderful team that he has there. We were able to do some fantastic stuff there. One was actually a mission in action moment. We got to serve a service project at the Fisher House there with the team, the local IT team, and our senior leadership team. It was a great demonstration of mission in action. It was a very rewarding experience. We also had the opportunity to talk to our customer. We talked to our medical center director there and also our regional office director, and heard some great feedback on how we can help them further in their mission, processing benefits and handling patient care, both locally and globally across the US. For a lot of the feedback that they gave us fed into what we were there for in the first place, which was basically to set a vision for FY24. We recently completed our first year, our inaugural year of End User Services, where we took End User Operations and Enterprise Command Operations and put them together. And we've done some wonderful things. We've been able to execute our first budget in FY23. We've been able to construct our next 2 years of budget in FY24 and 25. And we're able to come up with some ideas about how we make a difference. We started off the conference last week with, how do we want to be known as? What do we want to be known as in End User Services for next year? And so we got some of the input from Kurt Delbaney himself. We got to spend an hour with him in a Q&A session. And we talked about things like how we might manage in our challenging environment where we have some constraints and resources, but an ever-growing population of customer demand. We got some things that we can work on in that area. And we also talked about medical and special purpose systems and how we can secure them, and some interesting actions that we have to follow up on. And from the meeting, we're actually going to have a follow-up offsite from both of our work groups in end user operations and enterprise command operations to tease out more how to put that vision into a roadmap for operation and set up a game plan for us for next year. Some of those vision statements involve things like how we might modernize the end user's experience in the endpoint management area. You know, things like cloud PC, device as a service, using automation to help intervene before the end user has impact. You know, just an hour ago, I participated in listening in on the Digital Expo from Palo Alto that Kurt Delbaney spoke on, and he mentions our efforts using Tachyon, the tool that we use for endpoint telemetry, and how we were able to intervene on certain aspects of the performance of a device and help alleviate a pain point for a customer before they had to, put a ticket in for us. So it's those kinds of things that we want to focus on in our efforts for next year, because really what it comes down to is, again, our mantra of anytime, anywhere, for anyone, we want to delight the customer. We want them to have the IT they need to execute the mission that they have. You can imagine areas like bring your own device that we might have some foray into. We're going to experiment with workstation device as a service, as I mentioned, and hopefully have some products delivered next year to help us with provisioning and help our end user so that their experience, whether they be remote, mobile, or on-prem, would all be the same. They couldn't differentiate. They would have a delightful experience no matter where they are. So important for them to be able to have the access to what they need to help serve the veteran, and we want to facilitate that. So with that, I just want to say that I'm very proud of the efforts we've done so far this year and the products and services that we offer. We really do make a difference. Looking forward also to the rest of the town hall here and the Q&A session. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Jeff for furthering the program. Jeff?
Thank you, Jack. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are right now. First off, I want to foot stomp what Jack said about the employee survey. Thank you all so much for participating and giving us such great feedback. I look forward to seeing the results here in a couple of weeks. I read last year's. I will tell you, as a new person coming into an organization, a tool like the employee survey is really critical to help me understand some of the challenges you have in the field. And with such a large workforce, it can be very hard to try to get the pulse and understand your day-to-day. And so that's just one tool that we use. And I really appreciate everyone who participated and took the survey. So today, I'm 5 months on the job. And I've gone to about 6 different sites. I got another 6 or so that are on the schedule. That's another tool that I'm using to try to understand the workforce and the work that we do and be in touch with your day-to-day challenges, is to get out and see folks. It isn't likely that I'm going to be able to see every site. If I saw one a week, it would take me 3 years to get to all the sites. But I have been trying to get at least to one site in every district and spend some time with folks, doing town halls, taking questions, looking at their day-to-day operations and some of their special customer bases that they have, whether it's a veterans home or a research facility or some other interesting aspect. I could tell you, I have been learning a lot, and I really want to say thank you so much to everyone who has participated in one of those site visits that I've been on so far. They have been immensely valuable to me. And I know it takes a lot of time out of your day, even if you're just coming to the town hall, to stop what you're doing and sit and visit with me. If I haven't visited with you yet, I look forward to seeing you, and I hope you will come prepared to engage in a discussion and a dialogue and let me know how it is in your neck of the woods. So as I said, I'm learning a lot, and I wanted to share with you today just what I've taken in so far. There's some really major points. First of all, I feel like this organization is really healthy and happy. I have not seen such a group of people that are so unified in their mission and their purpose. That is really telling. And I've worked in a lot of different organizations across government. Some had some really high morale. But the focus on the veteran and the understanding of our purpose day to day is really pervasive. And I think that that's just amazing. I feel honored to be part of a team like this. I also feel like we have a really great leadership team. This is a very large workforce spread out across a very large footprint and a lot of moving parts. They do a great job working together and keeping me connected on day-to-day issues. So I want to thank our leadership team. And I want to thank you all for being such great team members and working together. I'd also say that, I really feel like our mission is critical. Almost everywhere I go, you can see how we touch everything, or everything is something that relates to the work that we do. Even on the bleeding edge of technology, we have some role in the implementation or how the end user consumes that experience. And so we're instrumental in so many ways. I also say that, the key thing that I think is important to the success of this organization is people. And you'll see as I go through my slides, people are really our key to success. And that is really the key to our value proposition. And so that takes me into my very first slide. When I go out into the field, there's all kinds of work that we're doing. But I really feel like the value that we give to the VA and to the customers that we serve every day is that we are people serving people. And that means a couple of different things. First of all, we're the only face of OI&T that a lot of our customer sees. They're not here in the headquarters or in our data centers or in our network communities. And so you represent all of OI&T. And I think that that's a valuable thing for them to be able to see us and to see visual representation and the mission in action through our people. We offer a human interaction. Technology can be frustrating. Doctors and nurses are under a lot of pressure. And you are able to work in their space at their time, and help them real time. And I think that that's critical. I said at the start of this thing, good afternoon or good morning, because on the West Coast, it's still pre-noon, right? And so for those folks, I think, they'll be working when I've already left for the day. And so having a workforce there that follows the work throughout the day is really key. You guys are also really critical as a human sensor for the enterprise, as someone described it to me, and I love that phrase. But you're the eyes and the ears on the ground. I don't know what's happening in Hawaii or California or Omaha, but you guys do. And oftentimes that information gets percolated up and it informs our decisions. It informs the services that we provide and the direction that we're going, and not just for EUS, but across all the service pillars. So it's really been valuable. And I have seen many, many times just in my 5 months that I've been here, how an experience that one of our team relayed to us influenced the services that we provide as OI&T. You provide visible value to the business. And so, the analogy I like to use, you might wonder why you're looking at a joint up there on the slide is, in a joint, between two major bones or two large moving pieces, there's cartilage that cushions and connective tissue that helps guide that motion. And I see EUS as that connective tissue and cartilage. We help those two large moving pieces moved in a synchronized and organized way. And I think that's really kind of a good analogy of our value proposition. Next slide, please. I will tell you, though, that just like with any knee joint or back joint, if you overuse it or overburden it, you will find that you have stressed it. And sometimes that stress just needs a little rest, and sometimes it needs help. You're going to have to unburden it some, or you're going to have to shift your weights some. And I will say that one of the things that I'm concerned about that I've observed in the field is that our employees seem to be experiencing a lot of stress. What's a marvel to me is that it doesn't seem to be impacting the quality of our work, the performance and ratings that we get from our customers. The survey results that we get are phenomenal, some of the best in the industry. And so I really appreciate the fact that you guys are working under stress and under load, and you're able to carry out our mission. But I will say some of the things that I think that we can look at in terms of how we can help with that employee stress is the scheduling of projects, some of this imbalance of the work across the enterprise. We can figure out whether or not there's an opportunity for some of the service desk to take on some of those more routine functions, or if we can't get some of the folks in IO or CCS to help us with some of our tickets. And I think there's an opportunity there to kind of level some of that load across multiple pillars in the organization. Our change control process, you know, you guys, almost any change that occurs in the enterprise, even if it's in a cloud-based system, has an effect on the end user experience. And sometimes I think some of that change control is not well communicated or coordinated. We see it in the morning stand-ups. You hear oftentimes the CIO asking, well, did we test the change? How did we know that this wasn't going to occur? So there's a good percentage of some of the outages and some of the stress that we're feeling is related to change control. There's a lot of what I call above baseline work, and I know that's not really a common VA term, but it was in my previous job. But it's work that we aren't really resourced to do. We were not given that system as a responsibility or that application as something that we normally support. But our folks are really customer focused, and they have stepped into a gap, and they're doing whatever that may be. And so I think there's an opportunity there to find out where that work is coming from, who is the owner, see if we can't get resourced for it, or get some other organization or pillar to help us with that additional work. I think sometimes the visibility of communications from OI&T is a stressor. I hear this in town halls when I get questions and answers. There's concern about certain things that are really important to us, like special salary rate, which we'll talk about later today. And folks are stressed because they don't know and they haven't heard. And so getting visibility in the communications or decisions that have been made across all OI&T is a challenge for us, and it's an opportunity space for us to work on. And just morale issues in general. There's quality of life issues, work-life balance issues, recognition issues, development issues, those kinds of things that I hear come up over and over and over again. And I think those are all opportunities for this leadership team to try to relieve some of those rocks that are one by one being stacked on our employees. And to that end, we are going to have a leadership offsite for EUO here in July down in Charleston. And we'll start to work on an implementation plan on how we can get after some of these employee stress issues. Okay, next slide, please. I just wanted a quick update for you on the org chart. Since I've been on board, we have filled permanently the executive assistant position with Lori Fennell as the EA. She had been helping out when I got here. We went through a competitive process, and she was selected. Maria Kelly Murphy is now the Director of Business Services under Cherry Waters, and she'll be helping basically run the business office. So welcome to her. We got two movements there. I got Ryan McGettigan, when we last spoke, was acting as the deputy for me, and he has finished his rotation and gone back to his regular position as the Mid-Atlantic District Director. And Lisa Leonelli has agreed to help out until we can complete that hiring action. And so she is currently in the acting role as my deputy. And then, of course, Lisa was the Midwest District Director. And so with her stepping into the deputy role, David Anderson out in Midwest District is now the acting director there, okay? So just a few little personnel changes. Next slide. So finally, I just want to leave with you with these wow statements. We cover those, I think, in every town hall. And I've had opportunities to talk to folks in the field about the wow statements and how it influences their day and their work. And I think it really, to me, it's an impactful set of statements that really describes our aspirations. And so I really like to, sort of reaffirm the wow statements. I think everyone has a poster in one of their locations. If you don't, let us know, we'll get you one. But it's who we are. Our mission is to put people at the center of exceptional endpoint technology experiences. And that's people at the center, which is key, and it's the people serving people piece that's part of our value proposition, right? Our vision is to be the sought after experts in the state-of-the-art secure endpoint technology solutions that deliver exceptional user experiences. And I've mentioned already how we intersect with just about everything in the enterprise. And so to that end, how do we do that, right? Fix Today is the idea that we would love to get to a point where customers are returned to operation the same day. And we have a lot of different initiatives that we're working on and we're researching where it's low touch, no touch, virtualization, different tools. Tachyon was something that Jack mentioned at the opening that will help us anticipate issues and fix customers and return them to service the same day. Another one's Ready Day One, where every new user has the equipment and the access to be productive the first day on the job. Our goal for this is 95% or better, and we're already hitting that. The caveat there is that the customer has a responsibility in letting us know when they're about ready to add a new person. And so sometimes that lead time can be tricky with HR and when folks coming on board. But it's overall, we're doing a great job at meeting our commitment there. Open on time. Anytime we open a new space, we open it on schedule. And we're doing well with that. We got a lot of new construction being planned. I was out in Texas. They've got a couple of CBOCs they're building. Louisville's building a new hospital. It's really fascinating to go and see these new facilities that are under construction. And the quality of the facilities are just astounding to me. How can I help? I think these last two, how can I help and solve for yes? This is part and parcel of what I was talking about. It's phenomenal to me how connected such a large workforce is consistently to the customer. And the approaching every situation and person with an open, curious, solution-oriented mindset. Taking on challenges that we aren't necessarily 100% ready for, but willing to help the customer. Showing our commitment to the veterans, and by understanding the VA's business objectives and partner to find workable, secure solutions that work within our limits, our budgets, our staffing, our regulations. That's really the challenge. We want to help. Most of you folks live and work in these communities that you serve. These are your friends and your neighbors, as well as the people who you work with. And it can be a challenge, I think, for folks that are not as close to the customer base as you to understand some of their rapidly evolving requirements or challenges with technology. And so my goal will be to try to get other pillars the same sense of your day-to-day understanding and engage and expand that group of resources that can help us all together solve for yes. Okay? And I think that's it for me. Next slide. Oh, no, I don't. I forgot. I have two recognitions. This is incredible. 40 years is an incredibly long time to be in public service. It is a difficult job. It has a lot of rewards. But we have some folks that have done that. Scott Arnold, District 5, Tucson, Arizona, and Marico Martinez, District 2, Miami area. Thank you so much for your 40 years of service. Keep in mind that all the recognized employees with 40 years plus of service, that's up through Q2 of FY23. So if you don't see your name on there, I know we're in Q3. When we get to our next town hall, you'll see your name. Next slide. You thought 40 years was amazing? 50 years, okay? That's just astounding. Half a century. And Elizabeth Brown, thank you so much. District 1, Pittsburgh area. What a phenomenal record of service for you. Appreciate it very much. Okay, and I think that is it for me now. Next slide. Yes, I'm going to turn it over to Cherry Waters now, who's going to give us the workplace updates. Cherry?
All right, thank you, Jeff. So just a few things that I wanted to update everyone on today. The first is simply a reminder about whistleblower protection. We want you to know that we in EUS are committed to having an environment where employees are comfortable reporting your concerns to supervisors, management officials, or other appropriate authorities. And I know that every employee has to take training when they start in TMS about the No Fear Act, et cetera. But it's easy to forget those things. So one of the things that we're going to do today is we have a EUS website where we've posted several resources for your use related to whistleblower protection, et cetera. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make sure that everybody has a copy of that link. And again, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions about any of the information there. It's really important to us that everyone knows that we are very committed to supporting this environment with open communication. The next thing, I have a few things I want to update you all on that were spoken about yesterday in the Office of People Science meeting that was held with Nathan Tierney. And so we'll make sure that you all get the link to go back and listen to the recording if you did not have the opportunity to listen to the recording of that meeting yesterday. Nathan covered many important topics, but I wanted to just hit on a couple because we do hear this regularly coming up as questions and concerns from the field. The first is performance awards. So we do know that the performance awards continue to be paid out. I believe that Nathan said yesterday there are approximately 300 remaining from last year in OI&T to be paid out, and they are working diligently on each and every one of those awards. We know that it took too long for them to process these awards this year from HR Max. We have heard the concerns and we agree with you on those concerns. I will tell you that it's also important to note that this year we did double the amount of award dollars that were available. And so making some of those changes did have some of an early on delay impact. But we're working very diligently with the HR Max team to try to improve performance on getting those awards out, as well as the turnaround times on the special contribution awards. Nathan talked about that quite a bit at length in his presentation, but we just wanted you all to know that we are diligently following up on each and every one of those awards, and that we don't think that that timing is acceptable. We'll continue to push on your behalf. The next thing that I want to touch on just really quickly is the special salary rate. We've been receiving a lot of questions about the special salary rate, and it's really important, again, for you to go back and listen to the town hall meeting with Nathan. He has affirmed again that it's expected that the special salary rate will start to be paid out in Q4. So that's in the upcoming 3 months. And he didn't have any additional dates beyond that. Where it stands right now is it's at the secretary's level for the secretary to approve. And then once the secretary approves the special salary rate tables, those will be published. Again, those apply to the 2210s in our environment. Once those rate tables are published and the Secretary has signed off on approval, I am certain that we'll get more information from the Office of People Science looking for exact target dates. But we know how important this is to you all. And we just want to make sure that you know that it is coming in Q4. So please don't hesitate. Again, reach out if you have questions. Unfortunately, we don't know anything beyond what Nathan shared with us yesterday regarding that special salary rate. Couple of other things about opportunities. You know, we want to just keep asking, get involved, look for areas where you can offer thank you and kudos to some of your fellow teammates. You know, we have a couple of opportunities for this. We have the employee shout outs. We have the VA gratitude website. We'll make sure that those links again get resent to you all, but it's really important to stop and take a minute. If somebody's done something that has helped you, take a minute and just express your gratitude for that. Next slide, please. Okay, so a couple of updates on equipment and some supply chain things. Let's speak first about the Lenovo status. So it's really important to know right now we are still on a pause with deploying any additional Lenovo devices. We are currently working with our vendor on a plan for mitigation with some of the issues that we identified with the Lenovo devices. As soon as that plan gets finalized, we will make sure that we send additional guidance out to the field. We're working on that right now. We expect to have that kind of wrapped up very quickly. If you have a site where you are in desperate need of equipment and all you have is the Lenovo devices, please reach out to your concierge. Let them know that you have a need so that we can expedite getting additional equipment to your site. Along with that, regarding procurement and shipping status, we have been working through the procurements for activations. It's incredibly important that your activation requirements are up to date in the activation timeline so that we can execute those procurements timely. We are working on procurements right now for projects scheduled to go live through part of 2024. And it's important that we have accurate information to make sure that those procurements are included in all of the buys that we're doing. We've also done another procurement for more monitors. I'm sure that's something that everybody is going to start clapping around the country for. We've purchased a large amount of additional monitors, and part of our plan is to have shipments go to every area, just like we did for the laptops with activations for the new hires. So that plan's been sent to the vendor as we get more information about when the timeline looks to happen for those to start shipping out. We'll certainly share that with you all. But it is something that is really important that you all know that we're working hard on. Additional items that we're working on procurements, we're obviously looking at life cycle refresh. So many of you have seen equipment coming in for life cycle refresh. We're working to get additional orders placed for life cycle refresh across the country and expect to see additional equipment that will be coming out over the next several months. As everyone knows, it's been our goal to make sure that we've procured equipment so that all devices greater than 4 years old will be replaced. We're also targeting, Jack and others have mentioned Tachyon earlier. We're targeting some of the worst performing devices in our environment to get them replaced first. So as we're sending out equipment and actions surrounding lifecycle refresh, we just ask that you look at those prioritized requests that we've got sending out and try to make sure that those are getting handled first. As always, if you have questions about equipment or you're struggling with anything, please reach out to the concierge team. They are here to assist you. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and say next slide. I'm going to pass it on to Kevin Marlowe.
Hey, Cherry, thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for a couple of minutes of your time. I'm Kevin Marlowe. I lead the organization called Service Delivery Management. SDM provides project management services across OINT from within EUO. Our team is currently comprised of about 100 people, most of whom are trained, highly skilled, and often certified project managers. Last fall, we were challenged by OI&T senior leadership to pivot, to make some adjustments to what we've been doing since around 2015. Specifically, we were asked to, quote, build out the project management discipline for OI&T to figure out how IT projects should be run, develop those processes, and support the people who manage them. So we've been working for several months to put together a model of what that might look like. And with excellent support from EUO leadership and some outside experts, we have figured out that the approach that makes the most sense is to turn SDM into a center of excellence. Now, a COE is more than just a bunch of words strung together. It's a standard business organizational model, and with that name come a bunch of products, processes, and approaches to problems, usually called services. We've taken note of the COE services that make the most sense for OI&T. As SDM evolves into the OIT Project Management Center of Excellence, we're going to roll these out, and you'll be hearing more about them as they come online. So in addition to our traditional core service of providing project and implementation management support for IT initiatives, we've begun working with ITWD to define a formal IT project manager career path. We're creating an online presence to save and share project management guidelines, tools, and best practices for anyone in OI&T to access. We'll be standing up a PM community of practice, which is an informal group that anyone can join to learn about, coordinate, and improve their project management skills. We'll be developing standards for project communications and reporting, leveraging the tools and skills we already have to help us all better understand status and the way forward for project initiatives. We intend to learn from our mistakes. We'll stay current with recognized best practices in project management, and we intend to bring those lessons to bear as we drive continuous, or as Kurt would say, relentless improvement. One thing that's not changing is how customers get to us. For internal OI&T customers, the Rapid Resource Request, or RRR form on your IT has been our intake mechanism for several years, and it works pretty well. For outside customers like VHA and VBA, we ask that you help us work them through BIOS via the consolidated OI&T intake form, also on your IT. Lastly, I'd like to point out that this is an evolution and not a revolution. We are executing this change with the same staff we have today, and we will flip the switch on the new services as they're ready to roll out. We'll be looking for feedback and engagement from any of our colleagues interested in project management and your help in how we can manage projects better so we can deliver capabilities to support our nation's heroes. It is absolutely our intention to be excellent. Thanks for all you do, and for your time, I'd like to hand off the presentation to Mr. Horner.
All right, hello, and thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. And again, this is James Horner, updates on staff development. For the EO Leadership Program Cohort 6 is 20 students. They just completed the Shark Tank presentations in May of 23 and wrapping up this year's program. For the EO Customer Support Learning Program in the non-supervisory track, it's in maintenance mode. We're continuously reviewing and refreshing the course materials, and new hires are assigned the program materials in TMS. For the area manager supervisor track, it's in phase 3 of 3, which started this June 2nd and will last until December. There's going to be some leadership panel discussions. The dates are to be determined. It's in fourth quarter coming up. The area manager and supervisor call or session will be about best practices and sharing what area managers and supervisor best practices look like in this environment. And then executive leadership is going to be sharing with us the characteristics of successful leaders. In addition, there's going to be 5 live cohort sessions coming up. These sessions have been highly rated by students, and we have sharing of best practices, making new contents, and discussing solutions as some of the primary benefits from the cohort sessions. And please watch for opportunities to lead, facilitate, and to provide us feedback on these sessions. For the district business office, content continues to be under development. And for IT certifications, for calendar year 2023, students are currently being scheduled in the courses, and the calendar year 2024 opportunities will be coming up in February. For questions, please contact the OIT US EO Staff Development Team, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Gracie.
Thank you, James, and greetings from the middle of America. As usual, I've got a few things to talk about, two that I think are the most important. We'll start with the Active Directory Modernization Project. It's been going on, excuse me, it's been going on for a couple of years now. We started off with a contractor to attempt this project that didn't quite work out well. And so as of now, Domain Infrastructure has the lead for all implementation of the Active Directory modernization. And it's really a two-part project. We started with the attrition, the attrition method of moving things to the new Active Directory. We started with the CEM domain. All new objects now for our National Cemetery Administration customers are being created in va.gov. So that's a big step. The next is that as of now, all non-mail enabled accounts, all NEMAs, are being created in va.gov. Distribution groups, security groups, and service accounts, as those new requests are coming in, they're being created in va.gov. So we are moving toward that new domain structure in a staggered methodology. They are working out now the process or the strategy to start moving existing units into the new model also. It is in progress, and it is actually making strides. The other part of that I think is equally important is the employment of the Azure AD. As we moved through the steps on the attrition to move into the new va.gov, we'll also start to leverage the Azure AD and reduce our dependency right now on the on-premises Active Directory and domain controllers. Hopefully we will be able to get to that new domain structure that will enhance service, give us greater access to help across the enterprise, anyone, anywhere, anytime. We'll get there. Along with that, account management is also undergoing quite a bit of change and quite a bit of enhancements. The AD user account management SOP, even though it was just signed and dated on April 5 of last year, 2022, it is already under revision. We expect to possibly have that fielded by September 1st of 2023. And the driving force behind it is that it goes hand in hand with the end user operations and local admin's account management playbook. That playbook is out there. It's a living document. It is under constant revision, specifically when we get feedback from you in the field. The link on the slide deck will take you directly to the latest version of it. Please dig into it, use it, and let us know where it needs to be changed, where it needs to be enhanced. Always looking for good feedback. The last thing I want to talk about is the next gen Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi activations projects. You know, the LAN refresh project is drawing down. They're getting close to the end of their time frame for those. But Wi-Fi, the wireless LAN projects are still going strong. The next gen Wi-Fi identified folks that absolutely needed a new wireless infrastructure. And then the Wi-Fi activations is a project to enhance existing Wi-Fi to bring 5G support in, and also to bring that capability to support guest wireless on the enterprise-wide programs that are set up for that. Both phases, or both of these projects, next phase, will run concurrently. So they may not be done at the same facility, but they will be continuous. Please give them support when you can, and we will try to keep you up to date on that status. Those are the top things that I wanted to talk about. And now I'll hand it off to Mr. Ed Johnson.
All right, thank you, Michael. And I'm Ed Johnson, the Director for Endpoint Engineering. I just wanted to touch on a few things today on how we are part of the EUO and helping to deliver some of these great endpoint services and working to meet EUO and EUS priorities. You know, one of those is, and we've heard this a few times, so I'm stealing from Jack and from other folks, of course, right? But, and that is, you know, we're all working to enhance the customer experience. That anytime, anywhere, anyone is something that we really take to heart. And, you know, as part of that, we're working on bring your own device. That is, we're into a small pilot on that. We've got a lot of work to do. There are a lot of blocks to check on this and some very important things that we have to make sure that we've got down really well. But that is moving forward. We will see that in the future. We continue to investigate and develop new avenues for access. Jack mentioned Cloud PC. That is just one of them. But on top of that, I also want to mention that, you know, we're looking to optimize our existing offerings. You know, we cannot just look to the new, right? We also must make sure that the current gets better and better. So we've got that good customer experience no matter what they are using. So how do we do that? You know, part of it is we have to improve our technical management, and we're always working to do that. As part of that, we're reviewing and optimizing the management tools that we use to make those stronger, to see what we can get into the hands of everybody to help with that customer experience and make it better. We're expanding and leveraging the use of our digital customer experience tools, or DEX tools. You've heard the term Tachyon mentioned several times in this presentation. And as Jack mentioned, it came up earlier today. That's one of the tools that we're looking to work on that customer experience, to measure it actually live out in the field and see what can we do to improve things. And part of that is to automate and have a proactive intervention available for endpoint issues, so customers see things fixed for them, in some cases before they even know that it's really a problem. So that is one of our ultimate goals, is let's get that stuff fixed. You know, let's increase the experience, or enhance the experience of the customers, so they don't have to worry about putting into a ticket. And we let them know, hey, we've intervened here, we've fixed this, we hope it's working for you. And one of the things I want to mention is the teams that are involved in working on this. Most of you know them, but I do want to make sure that it's, you know, we know who the endpoint engineering teams are as we move forward to work together. And we have EMER, the Enterprise Endpoint Management and Reporting Team. We have MTESC, the Mobile Technology Endpoint Security Engineering Team, DDE, Desktop and Device Engineering Team, and CT, the Client Technologies Team. You know, we're all working hopefully hand in hand with you all, with everyone very well, because we want a robust, flexible, and available enterprise for our folks, for our customers going forward. And I think we have a very bright future ahead of us, leveraging these tools and bringing all of this together. And with that, I will hand it over to Lori.
Thanks, Ed. All right, so now it's time for our Q&A portion of the program. And since we are running really close on time, let's go ahead and start with the first question. Is there an update on the UFER for new software requests?
Okay, thank you, Lori. I'll take this one. So just, you know, for everyone's edification, we absolutely know how challenging this is for everyone on our teams. We are so committed to delivering the services that our partners need. It's frustrating when we don't have the things that we need to be able to deliver those. We have gathered all of the software requests for new licenses that we've received so far. We have submitted them as an unfunded request, and we're working with our partners over in the BIOS team to help them and to build a process so that they can work with taking those requests, balancing them against the partner demand, and helping to get resolution to those items. We don't have a full answer yet, but it is something that we are committed, we're working on, and as soon as we have information to share with you all, we will be providing that to you. Next question.
So I will attempt to take this. I took a look at it, and I actually see two questions in here. Question is asking about snow routing locations. The locations table is consistently being updated as much as possible. But I also kind of read into it that you're really possibly asking for routing groups now, which is different. I don't know of a definitive list of all the routing groups that are available. However, after multiple discussions with the other pillars of the organization, they now have started to create triage groups for each of their teams. So if you're not quite sure exactly where a ticket might need to go, you can always type groups into the navigation bar and then search on triage, and it will give you a fairly comprehensive list. Another way that you can find a way to route or where to route tickets is there is a group that are known as Wayfinders. It was originally set up in in infrastructure operations, but their entire job or their mission is to help you find where a ticket needs to go, and we will get the information out, the link to their SharePoint site out to you so that you can access it and find out who your Wayfinder is, and they'll help you. It will go along with one other thing I kind of mentioned earlier, that the link to the playbook is in the slide deck. Silly me, forgot that there is no slide deck. We will put together an informational bulletin go out that will help get you both to the playbook if you don't have it, and to the Wayfinders SharePoint as well. Next.
All right. Our next question is EUS's Icon Design Contest. Has a winner been determined? Jack?
Yes, hot off the press. I am actually, first of all, thanks to everybody who submitted design contest submittals. Just found out that we actually do have five actual folks that we want to recognize for the submittals. And actually what happened was the submittals, multiple ones, we actually are amalgamating the input from each one, creating a master EUS logo, and it's actually with IT Stratcom now for 508 compliance and for usability. But we're going to recognize all of the entry people who participated, because really appreciate that extra effort and your commitment to recognize us. Again, we just started our new endeavor as end user services, and I think this will go a long way for a nice branding of our new persona. So those names are Gail Bovey, David Anderson, Kristen Stahlbaumer, Alexander Horn, and Milton Eric Christensen. So very happy to recognize those folks for submittals, and we'll get something out on that shortly. But expect to be able to show that shortly once we get through that whole process of the 508 compliant and IT Stratcom. So thanks again for your participation in that enthusiasm.
Yes, thank you. Much more artistic than I am, probably. Concerning the service desk, is there clearly defined process for site technicians to address issues with them?
Yeah, so I'm taking this question. First of all, I wanted to just foot stomp, the value of EUS is that both ECO, which manages the service desk, and EUO are now in the same organization. And we have been doing, as Jack mentioned, we had an offsite last week planning with them, and we've been doing a lot of coordination with that team since I've been here. And so I think that there's lots of opportunities for us to load balance and to process improve together, and this is just a good example. The first thing I want to mention is that there is a ticket handling SOP in development. It should be available by the end of the fiscal year, and some of the SOP will handle that kind of an issue. But in the meantime, the past